This is Father Charles Sikorsky, president of Divine Mercy University, and the pleasure to be joined by Samantha Kelley, who is the founder and president of a wonderful apostolate called Fierce Athlete. So thank you for joining us, Samantha.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So I think this is an important apostolate. You know, the topic of women's sports is in the news these days. And Samantha is a graduate of our MSP, our Master's in Psych program. Mm-hmm. She's been at this a long time before it became such a hot topic. Maybe she saw the signs of this coming, but tell us a little bit about your background and why you decided to start this organization.
Sure, yeah. So I was a college athlete, played soccer at the University of Connecticut. And while I was there, I just saw a lot of brokenness in the athlete world. It's very hidden, but specifically with women, just a lot of brokenness, a lot of mental health issues, a lot of eating disorders, a lot of sexual confusion. And, you know, I kind of had an encounter with Jesus in college and then went on to mentor women. I became a missionary with Focus. That's where I first heard about DMU. And there was just this deeper call in my heart to help that population specifically. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of great Christian and Catholic organizations out there for athletes, but none for women specific. None with, I think, just understanding or maybe their ethos was the integration of the body, mind, and soul, theology of the body, what I learned from DMU, and also just the transparency, the willingness to like go there and talk about the issues that women athletes are struggling with. And like you said, I mean, that was, 8 years ago. And now the issues are a little bit different, but the root's still the same. So
the root is the same. And it's just almost a natural conclusion of some of the things that were the ideas and behaviors that were going on. Right. Well, tell us a little bit. What does the apostolate do? What kinds of things do you do to serve? And you serve women athletes, I think, at high school, college level.
Yep.
And also, go ahead, tell a little bit about
that. Yeah, sure. So our mission is to promote true identity and femininity in female athletics. So, who am I? My core identity is not that I'm a great athlete or I have, I'm the leading scorer or my dad thinks I'm awesome because I play sports. My core identity is that I'm a daughter of God. And when we help women realize that, then those symptoms, the mental health issues, the eating disorders, we can really start addressing those from that place of understanding of who I am. So we do a lot of different things. We travel around the country working with different high schools, colleges, even professional athletes, doing retreats, talks, mentorship. I have a podcast, I wrote a book. And then most recently, we launched Fierce Coach, which is working with coaches of female athletes. This is funny. I was talking to a
Fierce Coach just kind of strikes me for some reason.
Yeah.
I've had some, but anyway.
Yeah, right. I was talking to a coach and, it was like in an airport, secular conversation. And I just said, how much of your job is coaching versus counseling? And he goes, 80% counseling. They are who these athletes come to. And so if we can support them as they're on the front lines working with these young women, and then also kind of help them understand the proper dignity of the human person, I found that important.
So you have retreats, you do one-on-one coaching, you do podcasts in your book. What's the podcast called?
Fierce Athlete Podcast.
Fierce Athlete Podcast. And the book is called? Be
Fierce, The Athlete's Guide to Growing Physically, Mentally, and Spiritually. Yeah.
Now, that's kind of a scary, what made you call it fierce?
I know. Well, the Lord gave it to me. I think we're trying to reclaim the word. I think, it's also an acronym, but I think there's a lot of tension within athletic women, like, can I be both feminine and athletic? Can I be, and I saw it as like, we're called to be fierce, but we're actually also called to be tender as women. So it's this balance of, yes, you can, but you're called to be both. And then the acronym, they're big words. It's kind of our pillars, but it's femininity. So what does it mean to be a woman? Identity, you start with, who am I? Embodiments, we talked a lot about the body-soul union. Receptivity, which is the height of my femininity. Catholicism, so we reach people of all faiths, but like everything we preach and teach is rooted in the church. and then encounter. So we empower women to go out and help others.
So you mentioned some of the issues that are out there now. What is like? Well, so what's the reaction? How successful have you been with some of your those you coach? And how do you address some of those?
How do I what?
How do you address some of these issues? Or what are the things that are most frequently popping up?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, kind of the things I've alluded to: sexual confusion, same-sex attraction, eating disorders, mental health. It's, again, when we approach these issues, it has to be with such sensitivity and such tenderness, but also with truth. You got to read what's the setting I'm in, right? I joke I have like 3 versions of every talk I give. It's like I'm in a place where we are all like-minded and it's going to be received. I'm in a place where I have to kind of say these things with some tenderness. And then I'm in a place where I just have to start with the truth of the human person and we go from there, So I've definitely had some pushback and, some crazy things happen, but it's par for the course.
So we're actually we're doing this interview. We're at the National Eucharistic Congress in Indianapolis. And Indianapolis now is the home of Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark,
drawing all kinds of attention for different reasons, for reasons that different people have different perspectives on why.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about her and why is she getting so much attention and attraction?
Yeah, I really like her. There's been this really interesting kind of division amongst people. You kind of saw a couple of years ago Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese play in the in the finals or in the Final Four, and I think what is attractive about Caitlin is, one, she's an incredible basketball player. She's fun to watch, but she's actually really humble. Her answers to questions, you hear other people answer and it's like, well, it's all about me, or I'm making this statement, or I'm this. And it's always like the other night she set a record and she's like, well, it was all my teammates. And I think there's like something in the heart of people that like admire her humility, admire just like her talent. I think that she does it well. And then the other thing is like, everybody wants time with Caitlin Clark. And I heard her say like, I realize this is your 6 seconds with me. I have to be on and intentional. Like it's almost like she understands the dignity of the person. Like when these little girls come up to her, she's very intentional about giving them her time. And I think that speaks into her character. Yeah.
That's been impressive. Also, you mentioned the humility, and she's really good at de-escalation. Some of the media is, they're trying to push a certain viewpoint, and some of the other players even.
Yeah.
And she's been remarkable and not taking the bait and sort of, well, it's just part of the game and we're all playing hard. And, I think I guess her family's been good. Her dad seems to be coaching her. I don't know, maybe she's one of your clients, but it is a really great example of how to handle that situation.
Level-headed, yeah. Yeah, you see the virtue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you studied at Divine Mercy University and did our online master's degree in psychology. How has that helped you in your work, and if so, how?
Oh my goodness, yes, it absolutely has. So I started the program when I was still a Focus missionary, and then I continued on after I left Focus and was starting to do this work. And I just think it's so, the understanding of the integrated approach to the human person. I was studying at Divine Mercy the same time I was discovering theology of the body. And a lot of what we preach and what we help women do is grow physically, mentally, and spiritually, and they all relate to one another.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think my education at DMU, one, it just gave me that frame of mind, that way of viewing the person as an integrated being with innate dignity, but also that they need health in their minds, they need health in their bodies, they need spiritual health. And I'd say the other thing is, I deal with a lot of very intense things. Like women open their hearts up to me. And what DMU taught me to do was really help discern, like, what does this person need? Do they need to go see a counselor? Do they need to go see a spiritual director? Do they just need some prayer? One of the really cool parts of that program was like learning when to refer. And so I just have this team of people around me now that I can refer my athletes to get deeper help.
You're not a licensed professional, but
Right,
you
no.
do coaching, but you kind of know what you can do and what you can't do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. So moving forward, what are the plans for the Fierce Athlete Apostle? Do you have any ideas of what are your dreams for taking to the next level?
So, we kind of have it branded out, but so right now we have Fierce Athlete and Fierce Coach.
Okay.
So current athletes and coaches. We're actually about to launch Fierce Forever, which is for former athletes. So just resources, community, a retirement course for them. Eventually we want parents resources. We think sports is so influential in our culture that if you can change women's sports, you actually will, as we're seeing Caitlin Clark do, like you'll actually change the culture. And so we just want to journey with people through every stage of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're going to hate me for saying it. I would not have believed that a year ago, but you can see it happening in front of our very eyes.
Yeah.
You're going to think I'm a chauvinist, but the sport certainly does have a lot of importance, but to actually get the attention of the entire culture, I think, and it really did. Unfortunately, too many men, they're very hard to find good examples out there, and I think that's part of it as well.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Pro sports these days, it's all about money and me, and there are a lot of great guys, there's no question about it.
Sure.
But Samantha, she's really the biggest story right now, right?
That's incredible.
Yeah. Well, good. So, thank you for your time. Appreciate this interview. And really,
absolutely.
So it's Fierce Athlete. So if you're a young athlete or a female athlete, or you have a daughter or granddaughter, or you're a coach, you need to check it out. Its website is fierceathlete.org
or fierce.org. We'll get you to both of those. Yeah.
Fierce.org. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, check that out. Well, thank you, Samantha.
Yeah,
God bless you in your work.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, good.